Here is a critical topic that rarely gets covered during a quick doctor's visit. Each night while you sleep, your kidneys perform some of their most vital functions. They filter your blood, help stabilize your blood pressure, and flush out the metabolic waste accumulated throughout the day. Crucially, the foods you consume in the hour or two leading up to bedtime have a direct impact on how smoothly this overnight filtration process runs. Usually, discussions about kidney health are all about restriction. We hear constantly about cutting out sodium, limiting potassium, and avoiding phosphorus. While managing those is absolutely essential, there is another side to the story that is database supported and hardly ever mentioned: what you can actually add to your diet to actively protect and support your kidneys during their overnight shift. Today, I will take you through 8 fruits approved as kidney friendly by the National Kidney Foundation. These options provide genuine antioxidant, anti inflammatory, and protective properties tailored for evening eating. Before we dive in, please subscribe and tap the notification bell to stay updated on our health tips. Also, let me know in the comments where you are watching from and what local time it is for you. I read through all of them. Be sure to stick around until the final fruit because it has a hidden caveat that almost no one talks about, and it is something you absolutely must understand before eating it. But first, let us talk briefly about how your kidneys actually function. I am Dr. William. With over 15 years of experience in internal medicine, I want to take just 2 minutes to share a quick explanation that will make everything else in this guide click. Your kidneys are a pair of fist-sized organs located just below the rib cage on either side of the spine. Working together, they filter approximately 200 liters of blood every single day, which is about 50 gallons, removing waste, extra fluids, and cellular byproducts to return purified, balanced blood to your system. According to guidance from the National Kidney Foundation, potassium is a crucial nutrient that supports cellular health, assisting your nerves, muscles, and cardiovascular system in functioning properly. However, those dealing with kidney issues are at risk of building up dangerously high potassium levels, a medical state known as hyperkalemia, if they intake too much, simply because compromised kidneys struggle to filter out the surplus. This dynamic creates the main dilemma of eating for renal health. On one hand, your kidneys require the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory molecules found in fresh produce to fight off the persistent inflammation that accelerates damage. On the other hand, many of the best sources of these compounds, like bananas, citrus fruits, kiwis, and avocados, are packed with potassium, placing a heavy load on vulnerable filtering pathways. The 8 selections we are examining today offer a straightforward resolution to this issue. They provide supportive elements, including natural vitamins, active antioxidants, fiber, and anti-inflammatory agents, without the heavy potassium load that makes alternative fruits problematic. Let's look at the list. Bedtime fruit number 1, tart cherries. This initial choice stands out as uniquely tailored for evening snacking compared to almost any other option. Furthermore, the clinical studies supporting it are sourced from respected organizations in renal healthcare. Reports from the National Kidney Foundation explain that tart cherries provide phytomelatonin, a natural botanical compound that helps stabilize sleep patterns and regulate circadian rhythms. Specifically, sour cherries fall into the low potassium category, yielding under 200 milligrams per 3.5 ounces. They also offer negligible levels of sodium and remain safe with low phosphorus content, allowing them to fit into meal plans at any phase of renal illness. Here is why eating them in the evening is beneficial. Your renal system manages blood pressure using internal clocks synchronized with your sleep habits. Under normal conditions, systemic blood pressure is supposed to decline while sleeping, a healthy trend termed nocturnal dipping. If your sleep is frequently interrupted, this drop fails to occur, exposing delicate filtration units to elevated tension all night long and driving cumulative microvascular damage over the years. Data published in PMC indicates that the melatonin, serotonin, tryptophan, and overall polyphenols found in sour cherries help improve rest duration and quality. These plant chemicals actively soothe inflammation and clear cell-damaging oxidants, playing an essential role in stabilizing different stages of your nightly sleep cycle. Additionally, a preliminary clinical study involving older participants struggling with insomnia showed that consuming sour cherry juice led to notable drops in insomnia severity when compared directly to a control group. The benefits matched or even outpaced popular herbal sleeping remedies like valerian root or commercial melatonin supplements. Improving your sleep promotes more stable blood pressure control throughout the night, reducing the continuous physical strain on your delicate kidney microvasculature. This linked physical chain of benefits is real and thoroughly tracked. How to use this? Consume 1/2 to a full cup of tart cherries or drink 4 to 8 ounces of pure unsweetened tart cherry juice roughly half an hour to an hour before bedtime. Ensure you select the sour or Montmorency varieties. Be careful here. Standard sweet cherries have a significantly higher potassium profile and should not be used interchangeably. Bedtime fruit number 2, blueberries. This berry ranks among the most studied superfoods in modern dietetics and holds substantial value for maintaining long-term renal health. Guidance from the National Kidney Foundation points out that blueberries offer a rich profile of dietary fiber, vitamins C and K, and dense antioxidant complexes. Since a half cup portion stays comfortably under 150 milligrams of potassium, it represents an outstanding low potassium food option. They are also favorable regarding low levels of sodium and phosphorus, meaning patients across all stages of chronic kidney disease and all modalities of dialysis can enjoy them without concern. What makes these berries so outstanding for the renal system is their concentrated anthocyanins. These are the same protective pigment producing polyphenols found in sour cherries, presented here in a distinct structural blend that operates via unique antioxidant paths. Peer-reviewed data suggests that incorporating about 3 portions of strawberries or blueberries weekly helps reduce systemic cardiovascular risk. These vascular protective pathways directly intersect with kidney health, as blood vessel damage and chronic kidney issues develop along the exact same physiological avenues and often manifest in tandem. This protective cross benefit is useful for adults over the age of 60, sustaining both renal function and cardiovascular health with a single nutritional upgrade and zero extra potassium strain is exactly the sort of therapeutic value a proper renal eating plan looks to maximize. How to use this? Treat yourself to a simple half cup of blueberries in the evening. This volume is useful for absorbing levels of healing anthocyanins while keeping potassium impact low. Whether they are fresh, frozen, or gently freeze-dried, their helpful plant chemicals remain highly preserved and active. Bedtime fruit number 3, strawberries. This fruit stands as one of the sweetest options on our list, while remaining deeply compatible with compromised filtration systems. The National Kidney Foundation emphasizes that strawberries supply useful amounts of vitamin C, manganese, folate, and crucial cell-protecting antioxidants. They contain minimal energy density, bringing only about 28 calories per half cup. Moreover, they function as a reliable low potassium item, providing just 130 milligrams per serving alongside low phosphorus and sodium counts. This allows them to fit safely into diets at any phase of chronic renal disease, as well as during peritoneal or hemodialysis treatments. Coming in at only 130 milligrams of potassium per half cup, strawberries sit at the very low end of the spectrum for fresh fruit, establishing them as an incredibly secure selection even for patients on strict medical fluid electrolyte protocols. Medical research suggests that eating strawberries boosts the blood's systemic antioxidant activity and enhances master protective agents like glutathione. Improving these defensive barriers directly buffers the filtering tissues from cumulative cellular fatigue and slows long-term renal deterioration while you rest. On top of that, these red berries also feature natural levels of sleep-promoting amino acids and chemical triggers like tryptophan. While they are less concentrated than sour cherries, they still aid a soothing transition to sleep when combined with your regular light snack in the evening. How to use this? Prepare a half cup serving of clean, unsweetened strawberries. For an elevated evening snack, you can mix these berries with a spoonful of plain, unsweetened yogurt to assemble a soothing and low-stress bedtime combination. Bedtime fruit number 4, apples. This choice is incredibly common and easily accessible worldwide, though it frequently goes overlooked as a powerhouse for cellular filter protection. The National Kidney Foundation indicates that apples boast remarkable concentrations of cell-defending molecules and digestive fibers while staying sparse in potassium, sodium, and phosphorus. It is vital to eat the skin as it contains up to 6 times more phytonutrient activity than the soft inner pulp alone. They also yield vital vitamin C and offer stable glucose metabolism advantages when favored over processed fruit drinks. This makes apples safe across all standard kidney healthcare models. For seniors balancing glucose control alongside chronic kidney issues, a common medical overlap, the sugar modulating effect of eating an apple at night can be helpful. The complex pectin fibers decelerate metabolic absorption, dampening high pressure overnight blood sugar drops and peaks that can aggravate filtration pathways. Furthermore, they play an intriguing role in discouraging kidney stone formulation. Experts indicate that steady water intake paired with foods that promote alkaline citrate states help limit typical calcium oxalate crystals. Apples supply malic acid, a biological precursor that encourages healthy systemic pH and lowers acidity profiles, reducing crystallizing triggers in urine pathways. How to use this? Enjoy one whole organic apple with its peel intact prior to retiring for the evening. Since a large share of the primary phytonutrient benefit lies directly in the outer skin, peeling it would strip away its strongest value. For extra flavor and metabolic benefits, consider seasoning it with real Ceylon cinnamon to maximize the protective, slow-burning fiber effects. Bedtime fruit number 5, grapes. This item frequently surprises people as they assume juicy table grapes are off limits for kidney-sensitive eating. Actually, dietary manuals from the National Kidney Foundation list table grapes as a preferred low potassium choice. They are organized alongside other protective, moderate selections like berries, apples, and pineapples, all far more kidney safe than higher potassium sources like bananas, oranges, and kiwis. Grapes shine primarily because of a studied defense chemical called resveratrol, alongside anthocyanidins that dye the skin deeply. Health institutions suggest these biological pigmenting components support heart circulation and defend delicate arterial tissues, which represents a crucial plus since cardiac complications often parallel renal challenges. Crucially, freezing individual grapes provides an effective alternative for hydrating on a strict clinical water budget. This small tip works wonders for many who must closely measure every single glass of fluid. Dealing with natural evening thirst without loading the system is a challenge. A few frosty grapes ease that dryness without expanding blood volume. How to use this? Treat yourself to a tiny bunch of darker red or purple grapes, about a half cup portion in the evening. If you need to monitor liquid inputs, place them in the freezer beforehand. Stick with darker, colorful strains, as they yield greater levels of therapeutic pigments than normal green grapes. Bedtime fruit number 6, raspberries. For their size, these little berries provide perhaps the greatest relative dietary fiber of any selection featured today, which supports filtration health far more than is widely realized. Nutritional tables compiled by the National Kidney Foundation categorize raspberries as low potassium options ideal for managing CKD. Adding a tiny half cup serving supplies nearly 4 grams of digestion boosting fiber, roughly twice the fiber yield of average fruits in a comparable volume. High natural fiber intake protects our filtering channels through dual processes. First, soluble and insoluble elements encourage protective bowel microorganisms to create specialized short-chain lipids, helping suppress cellular inflammation everywhere in the body. Modern studies connect this dynamic with improved longevity of residual kidney health. Second, rich natural roughage works as a slowing agent, helping to ease the absorption of other evening mineral complexes, like food-grade phosphorus. Given that dealing with high levels of phosphorus is one of the toughest diet adjustments for those with declining function, utilizing high fiber fruits right around mealtime works as a helpful buffer. How to use this? Set aside a simple half cup of organic, fresh, or standard frozen raspberries. Utilizing the freezer is typically more economical and stores these sensitive nutrients just as well as raw options. You can easily pair them with deep tart cherries to create an outstanding double action berry mix before sleeping. Bedtime fruit number 7, pineapple. This bright tropical choice catches people off guard, given that acidic fruits often feel entirely separate from mild kidney eating lists. Even so, expert nutritional resources highlighted in clinical archives explicitly validate fresh pineapples as ideal for those monitoring electrolyte concentrations. Official dietary matrices list it as safe and relatively light on potassium, transforming it into a valuable tropical option when handling more advanced dietary limits. The major health value is found in an enzymatic active ingredient called bromelain. Researchers examine this biocomplex for its potential to stabilize high internal biological inflammatory flags, given that overall structural changes in filter stress depend highly on quiet inflammation levels. An active botanical option that protects filtration makes an outstanding addition. Furthermore, this fruit directly targets bedtime routines. Fresh cuts offer useful traces of tryptophan, the core building block required for the brain's internal sleep molecules. It won't instantly knock you out, but it definitely assists a more tranquil wind down state when made a habit close to bedtime. How to use this? Grab a quick half cup of freshly sliced spears or chunks for a satisfying nighttime bite. Real raw cuts provide significantly more intact bromelain, whereas pre-cooked canned alternatives often lose a substantial portion of these biological elements during canning and pasteurization. Stick to raw portions to maximize your results. Bedtime fruit number 8, the choice with a warning. This is the crucial information we mentioned earlier, and the caveat requires close attention. Though public trends have linked wild cranberries to lower tract protection for generations, the usual health media stories completely omit two massive medical details. Let us review the direct, accurate science here. The National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health indicates that incorporating whole cranberries helps lower the risk of experiencing repeat urinary tract issues for sensitive individuals. Regulatory bodies actually permit claims reflecting this limited therapeutic connection because cranberries offer active tannins, known as PACs, that act as barriers so unwanted pathogens struggle to cling to structural lining surfaces. It is vital to emphasize, however, that cranberry products cannot treat active, ongoing bacterial conditions. Official digestive health departments assert that if a urinary tract or upper tier system challenge has already set in, juice cannot reverse it. Let's look at the straight facts. Daily utilization helps minimize development, yet the scope of protective science is somewhat conservative, variable, and clearly not a medical substitute once issues are underway. Now, here is the exact renal caveat you need to know. Raw cranberries are famously bitter, making them tough to eat plain. Because of this, mainstream drinks, dehydrated berry bites, and various supplements are typically sweetened with generous helpings of sugar syrup. Renal protection agencies point out that excessive consumption of heavily sweetened syrups significantly increases risk parameters over time. It is counterproductive to drink sugary juice mixtures expecting kidney defense while taking in empty caloric levels that actively stress your metabolic health. The benefits lie strictly in natural, sugar-free versions, not the highly sweet shelf options most consumers take home. How to use this? Search specifically for completely raw whole fruit, deep freeze packs, or 100% pure unsweetened organic tart extract. Strictly stay away from labeled juice cocktails or sugar-packed supplements. Above all, should you ever experience acute upper flank warmth or infection symptoms, contact a healthcare professional immediately. Berry mixtures cannot substitute for appropriate antibiotic treatments. A final note of caution: various reports show possible safety interactions between strong juice extracts and blood thinners such as warfarin. If your provider has prescribed daily anticoagulants, please consult your primary physician or local pharmacist before making these tart selections a central part of your routine. The bedtime kidney combination. Since you are now familiar with all 8 selections, here is an effortless recipe to assemble tonight. Get a small bowl and mix half a cup of sour cherries, a generous portion of dark blueberries, and a few freshly cut strawberries. This clean blend supplies rich phytomelatonin to stabilize evening biological loops, potent anthocyanins for internal system calming, natural trace vitamins for systemic tissues, and key digestive roughage for your internal microbiome, all while staying under safe mineral boundaries for virtually any stage of chronic decline. No confusing prescriptions, no synthetic supplements, simply 3 whole approved fruits ready about an hour before sleep. If you want a comforting, warm down drink to accompany your bowl, pouring a small glass of raw, unsweetened sour cherry juice next to it represents a natural, science backed renal support blend you can access from your grocery store, knowing when to seek advice. While each option highlighted today is labeled favorable in standard terms, generic plans must never override specific needs. If your diagnostics put you at more complex levels like stage 4 or stage 5 CKD, mineral metrics must be calculated with immense precision, ensuring even low impact snacks align safely with your designated physical goals. Your primary specialist or certified renal dietitian is the ultimate source to map out precisely how to fit these choices into your therapeutic targets. The National Kidney Foundation reports that minor initial declines do not require limiting plant derived mineral intake, assuming blood work reports stay healthy. However, if systems display major clearance strain, medical managers will provide tightly focused limits. If you are 60 or older and have not reviewed basic filter health numbers in recent months, please request a review from your care provider. A basic metabolic screening checks markers such as serum creatinine, your estimated EGFR, and electrolytes like potassium. Four clear pieces that establish a highly helpful status snapshot. Preparing a customized plan starts with checking these foundational results. Let me illustrate this with a 72-year-old patient who we will call Carol. She came in dealing with early stage 2 CKD, persistent sleeping struggles, and occasional low tract infections. Looking over her past grocery records revealed that, due to anxiety surrounding potassium content, she had cut out almost all raw fruit entirely. In doing so, however, she lost access to highly supportive cell buffers, relaxing nighttime biological helpers, and circulatory vitamins. We systematically rebuilt her nutritional pattern by drawing safely from the certified low impact fruit tables. She incorporated tart cherry choices for rest cycle and circulatory control, a portion of blueberries or strawberries for daytime tissue support, and a splash of raw cranberry concentrate 3 times weekly to assist urinary pathways. At a 6-week checkpoint, her sleeping comfort had grown considerably. The nagging local irritations, which had emerged on a monthly loop, did not reappear across several months, and her periodic kidney laboratory tests confirmed complete stability of filter health markers, which is precisely the protective goal we target at stage 2. She later expressed that her greatest delight was how easy and pleasant this simple bowl habit felt. It became an enjoyable upgrade to her well being rather than just another negative exclusion, showing how framing adjustments toward health preservation can make routine changes vastly more successful over the long term. Naturally, the data shared today functions strictly for personal learning and is grounded in clinical public research rather than a personalized care routine. Any meal adaptation should be evaluated directly with your care providers. If you reside in advanced chronic decline, depend on filtration machinery, use complex daily prescription molecules, or maintain fixed limits, please clear all additions with your direct physicians. Here is your nightly plan of action. Let us start today with these choices. First, sour or Montmorency cherries. Use half to 1 cup or some clean tart cherry liquid before retiring. Second, standard blueberries. Incorporate a simple half cup, either fresh or cold. Third, organic strawberries. Use a half cup, yielding just 130 milligrams of mineral potassium, highly compatible for general stages. Fourth, fresh apple. Enjoy a single piece, skin on, to manage midnight glucose peaks and deliver deep fibers. Fifth, natural dark grapes. Keep portions to a small hand size and pop them in the freezer if monitoring fluid budgets. Sixth, tender raspberries. Rely on a half cup for valuable digestive fibers that feed systemic microbiomes. Seventh, fresh raw pineapple. Select a half cup, completely non-pasteurized, preserving precious biological elements. Eighth, natural pure cranberries. Ensure they contain zero sugar additions, checking with experts if monitoring circulatory thinners. Mix a quick evening snack combining options 1, 2, and 3 first. You can easily bring the remaining fruit ideas in over the next few days to monitor how your body accommodates each element, Moving forward, if you plan to enjoy this evening fruit mix tonight, please write down which trio you are prioritizing in our feedback area. I truly read and value each post. If you find value in accurate, highly documented educational insights, subscribe to stay in the loop. We explore the latest published details regarding metabolic support and long term vitality past 60 each week. I am Dr. William, and next we are uncovering 5 typical liquids silently driving creatinine up with a surprise spotlight on a well known well being supplement drink. We'll speak soon.